Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Hayley Bendzik, the President and CEO of YYC3, a Calgary-based digital marketing consultancy where she builds strategic social systems for SMEs, holding everything from content creation and community engagement to paid ads and online course launches. She scaled client success like doubling online sales revenue, opening second brick and mortar locations, and generating six-figure passive income through courses, while also working with TSX traded companies. Her hands-on approach connects brands to audiences via sharp storytelling and streamlined operations that boost sales. Hayley, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about your journey. So, Hayley, with all of my guests, I do like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up YYC3, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Absolutely. So yes, I'm Hayley, founder of YYC3. We are a creative communications collective. I didn't start with a perfectly clear vision, but I have built one over the last decade, evolving alongside my team and the work. So I took in university, I got my bachelor's of management. I got my bachelor's of management degree from the University of British Columbia, and after that, and majored in marketing. After that, I worked for a consumer packaged goods brand in Calgary, and essentially that was right around the time that Instagram just came out, and so I definitely had interest in seeing how these social platforms would change the marketing landscape. And essentially for the job that I had, they did a lot of traditional marketing. And so I was able to come in and, create social profiles. And I actually also had the opportunity to project manage the website redesign. At the time, I didn't know much about web development. So I worked with a developer and I wrote a lot of the copy, created a lot of the graphics, and kind of launched that. And so through this job, I got to kind of bring them into the digital age, and also did a lot of social digital marketing that was amplifying their traditional marketing. So I also, went to events, organized fundraisers, we sponsored a lot of things. And I think I got to really touch like all sides of marketing. And so I was there for about 2 years, and I through what I was doing, I had said, like, I think that you guys should have an online store. And they, as a manufacturer who sold to distributors, were like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to change like our processes. So then I thought, well, what if I was a distributor? So I purchased, nothing changed on their end, but I ran the e-store for them. And so I actually did that, like shipped orders. So got a lot of experience there. We did a packaging redesign for about 24 SKUs when kind of gluten-free and stuff like that was becoming more popular. So we wanted to get that on the packaging. And so that's kind of where it all began. And then it was very lean, small office side of things, mostly manufacturing. So basically, I just kind of wanted more. I wanted to learn and grow even more. And my manager at the time was definitely more on the traditional side of things. And so I ended up getting them to be my first client and allowing that, being allowed to continue my work for them, but as YYC3 and as a freelancer, which allowed me to then, try to take on other projects. And in the beginning, I took on said yes to a lot of things, which, was great at the time to learn a lot and kind of figure out where I wanted to be. But now, later in the career, it's definitely the opposite, where you have to learn how to say no and kind of stay in your lane. And I think that's how I kind of got here today, is learning to accept help, realizing that the quality of work is best done by specialists. So essentially, as I got busier with the freelance work, I did start to hire people.
Awesome.
And I was hiring, entry level positions, fresh graduates, that sort of thing. And I realized after a few years, it was they'll come work with me for maybe a year, maybe two, and then move on. Unless, I can afford to pay them more and stuff like that. And so then I kind of was in a place of thinking about, well, how do I really grow my business so that I can retain certain people? And how do I also look at my business differently, where having certain jobs that are maybe a higher turnover aren't going to affect me. It's not going to be such a significant loss, whether that's, just it's not as hard to hire and train and get those people, where they need to be. And that's kind of where things evolved into more of a collective. So I started to create a network of other freelancers who and broke out the work that we were doing into kind of specialist roles. So opposed to, somebody having one client and they do everything from talking to the client, content creation, publishing, notification management, everything for that client. We shifted so that it would actually be one person on the team just did content creation. One person on the team just did scheduling. One person on the team just did notification management or growth hacking. And so moving into that area definitely changed a lot of things with the business and showed a demand for better processes. And so that's one thing that I think too much lived in my brain for too many years that I didn't put down on paper. So now everything, I am trying to document, write processes. And that's a big thing I would say for anybody who's starting a business, try to just document everything. It is worth the time to do it right from the beginning instead of having to go backwards. But yeah, so today we are a kind of independent contractor freelance collective. And so we have different, all kinds of different people on our team. And coming from a more traditional work environment and having boomer bosses and things like that, I think that in my mind, I thought I had to hire people full time, and those would be the best kind of team members to have. And what I have learned now is that I think the opposite. I started YYC3 to, be able to dip my hands in different projects, as well as freedom, flexibility with my schedule. In my 20s, I really wanted to travel. So I started this business kind of with those goals, and then to almost take that away from the people that I want to join the team didn't make sense. So now this collective that we have is, everybody makes their own schedule. They have freedom and flexibility. They can, work within our collective on our projects, but they can also do work elsewhere. So I feel like for a bit, I was trying to build something that didn't truly fit what I set out to do for myself originally. And now that I've gotten back to that and really created a business that thrives on that, I've found the most amazing people. I just love my team. I have, someone who was pregnant and was worried that she would just not find a job because she was pregnant. And basically it was well, notification management, growth hacking. There's certain pieces of what we do that doesn't matter when you do it. And so, once you have your baby too, like in between naps or in the middle of the night, you could actually, do this role. And then that's when I really started to realize, like, I especially love empowering women to, maybe they can't find a job, so create your own. So I love to be able to share, like, teach these skills to show them how they can, do it all. Because I think as a woman is very hard to, have to maybe make a decision at some point between family and career and things like that. And so actually our collective is primarily female, and we have a number of working moms who, log on for a couple hours during the day when the kids are at school, a couple hours in the evening, and essentially just contribute within the capacity that they have and that they want to. And I think that this model now created has just been extremely successful for how we work, but how our team culture. It's been really great, and I'm very excited.
I can imagine it sounds like quite a journey. And as you say, you kind of had to pivot a few ways to get to where you are and where you want what you want the business to look like. And I think that's only natural for most founders. As you say at the start, you do want to help everybody, and then you kind of realize it starts to have a detriment on you and the business. So you just need to phone in. But I love the fact that you've kind of, as you say, you've kind of built a collective, exactly that, a collective of women, of people that you can pass those jobs onto. So it creates a very smooth effect when you are helping the companies you're looking to work with, because as you say, you have a specialist that goes in and does each field, and they can do that in their time, and they can continue to grow from there. So when it does come to like YYC3, who would you say though is your like ideal client? Like, who do you very much love to work with the most? And then essentially, like, how is it you help them? So in terms of how do you divvy out the jobs, and what does that structure look like within the companies that you're working with?
Yeah, so we've had a shift in recent years. And we used to work with a lot of local businesses, a lot of beauty, wellness. Our clients are quite diverse. We absolutely don't have a niche. With that being said, in recent years, we now have a number of like publicly traded mining and resource companies that we work with. Some that were pre-IPO, needed to have a digital professional presence before the IPO, and then consistently after that. And so, I mean, at first, a lot of it was a foreign language, right? The information is about geology and a lot of words that I don't understand. And now it's cool. Like, something I think I love about what I do and not necessarily having a niche is that I get to learn so much. I have so much random knowledge, lumber and building materials, mining, as well as beauty and aesthetics, pet nutrition, real estate. So our ideal client, I would say, is somebody who, one, understands the value of marketing, isn't trying to get it done for as cheap as possible, and wants quality work. Two, is willing to collaborate, to be on camera or to provide media, especially if they're not local. If they're local, we can go do photo video shoots, but when they're not local, well, we want to always bring the human side of the business out. And so if someone is not willing to give us any assets, isn't willing to, film a 3-second clip for like the opening hook of a reel, or just, contribute a little bit, that's not the best fit for us. We definitely like working with clients who are willing to collaborate a little bit and be part of that. But with that being said, we aim to take so much off their plate that it's just easy, and we're really systems and process focused. So we want to, maintain standards of how we collaborate. I feel like I really love the mining world now as we've gotten into it. But personally, I am a pet lover. And so I do love also working with the pet nutrition company we work with. And I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of our clients also have been female founders. So I would say that probably the ideal is a female founder who wants a partner to help grow their business, who wants, a fractional CMO type of thing where I get to really lead the strategy and then have the team who helps execute it.
Yeah. But as you say, it needs a little bit of give and take, especially if you can't get there to do the actual like physical work you need to do. So as you say, more of a partnership, a CMO where you can very much get in the trenches with them, but they can help you out on the back end and it's just a smooth communication coming through. And I think obviously there's always a big debate in marketing, like you need your ICP and whatever, but the ICP is just so that when you are marketing yourself, you know who you're speaking to. But naturally, if you can help a variety of people, why shouldn't you? And you can even I think you can draw ideas and inspirations from different fields sometimes as well. So like different industries, as you say, for mining, they might correlate with dogs and you can try some other techniques that no one else will find because you're working different avenues for each industry, which is a really cool asset to bring to it as well. Now, naturally with the bigger companies and the bigger industries, like they're harder fish to catch. So like, how do you go about acquiring your customers? Like what channels or methods are you finding most effective in yourself, like with your background in marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of social media managers, their own socials are not great because we're doing it for everybody else and not necessarily ourselves. I have been very fortunate that the majority of my business has been referral based. So I feel like doing a good job going above and beyond is something that we are known for. And then that just organically has led to referrals.
Nice.
And yeah, we get some inbound leads through the website, which I think primarily come from review sites or like lists and rankings. So we have some good Google reviews, good reviews on Clutch, but we actually have never done any marketing ourselves to get clients. But with one of the newer programs we're going to be offering this year, we're going to be kind of focusing on doing some more UGC. That likely will be a little bit of cold reach out. To date, I've been very fortunate that the business has kind of been built on reputation and referral.
Beautiful stuff. And not many founders can say that, especially with the marketing space. So it just shows kudos to the work you are doing with the clients you've got already, And then actually UGC is a really unique way to go about marketing yourself. Obviously within the digital space, it's beautiful. So just bringing that all together as one system will have a really nice spring motion forward. I hope so for yourself. And naturally, what are your visions, I suppose, or ambitions for the company moving forward? Like maybe when you think of the next 6 to 12 months, like what are the goals or the milestones that you're hopefully looking forward to achieving?
Yeah, so the focus for the last over a year now, maybe it's been 2 years, time flies. The focus has been a lot of getting me to be working on the business and not in the business. I am the bottleneck for many things that still remain, that go through me before they go out. And so that's been a huge focus for me, is figuring out how to kind of solve that problem. And we are, using some AI tools for, you can run a post through that first to get the same feedback that I would maybe give and things like that. But with that being said, why I would like to be, working more on the business than in it is because I do have so many different ideas that just get put on the back burner, many just that are in the idea graveyard. But there are kind of 2 main things for this year that we want to work on. And so one of them is the launch of our formal UGC program. So we create user-generated content for the clients we have often, but I would like to just offer that as a package on its own. And so, basically continue to work with monthly managed clients that are the best fit for us. I really would like to, just grow with the right clients and not say yes to everybody and be a little bit pickier there with who we work with, and use UGC, which is going to be more of like a one-off, you get X deliverables as agreed to, and then we move along, as the other kind of aspect there. And so just formalizing that side of things, to be a package that we offer, and especially something that's an alternative to, okay, if you don't have the budget to work with us as a full service monthly managed client, here is another option for you. And so that's one of the most immediate focuses for us. And then the second one would be, I'm hoping to create a like YYC3 learning lab. So we do have practicum students who have completed their practicum hours with us. So I have found that I think that's what I really feel passionate about. And I mean, social media, digital marketing is so dynamic that it's a lot to keep up with. And doing this for so long, it can get tiring. And I find that what really renews me is when I work with others, teach them, I see, them learning, of course, sharing feedback with me. And so I really kind of like that mentorship side of things. And so, with the practicum students that come, they complete their hours for school, and that's kind of that. But there are also sometimes people who are just reaching out, like they just want to get some experience. They're wondering if they can shadow and different things like that. So I also would like to formalize a mentorship program, learning lab sort of thing, maybe an online course, maybe it is more in-person workshops, but I would love to lean more into public speaking and mentorship and that sort of thing. And then finally, kind of parallel to that, is be more in a fractional CMO role, more strategy, and hand over a lot of the daily operations and stuff to some of the members of our collective who are absolutely capable to do that.
Awesome stuff. And it sounds like really exciting plans moving forward. And I love that you have that, as you say, like the student system coming through. So you're helping that next generation of marketers obviously get that experience they need in the current world, which is really cool. And I can understand what you're saying when you get kind of bogged down a lot when you are doing the mundane day to day. So the fact that you can clear your calendar up so you can work on the business will be a big step for you moving forward, especially when it comes to teaching. It's the highest form of learning. So it always broadens your horizons the more you speak to new people. And Hayley.
Sorry, I'd love to just comment on that because the people that I work with have shaped the business. I have learned so much from each person. Some people are like, I prefer to meet in person and work on things, or, I like to do everything remote, or I like flexibility, or, I really care about this. This matters to me in the culture that we have. And so I feel like where we are today is because of the people in the collective. And I kind of love that as well, that we're creating the vision together. I think we're really collaborative, and that is what we are.
Yeah, it's so cool. As you say, if you're at your own community of just out there helping the world, which is awesome stuff. And Hayley, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do so?
Yeah, so our website is yyc3.com. It's YYCTHREE spelled out. And then our socials are the same, YYC3. Personally, LinkedIn, Hayley Bendzik. I am happy for anybody to reach out, send me a DM. I would love to connect. And thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome to chat with you.
No, beautiful. And I really appreciate you joining me today. So thank you again. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to go and check out Hayley Bendzik. As she just said, drop a message on LinkedIn. Check out the website, yyc33three.com. Drop her a message. I'm sure she'd love to hear from everybody. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, Visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we'll see you on the next one.